Yeah, so my name's Barry Bull. I'm the curator of the museum at Chasewater Railway. The society started in 1959 at a meeting in the Railway Hotel in Stafford. I think there were 16 people there, men and boys, and there was about 12 adults and about 4 youngsters. And the aim was to set up some sort of a museum, possibly operating railway, in the West Midlands. The society was part of a national group, and it called the Railway Preservation Society, but we had the bracket behind us saying West Midlands Division of the Railway Preservation Society. The first items were obtained in 1960, a couple of old carriages from Cannockwood Colliery, and we opened a depot at Hensford. The depot at Hensford closed by 1970, but in 1965 we'd actually signed a lease to move everything eventually to Chasewater and reconstruct what was left of a very derelict railway. The railway itself was the Midland Railway branch from Aldridge through Walsall Wood, Brown Hills, round the side of the lake, which in those days was called Norton Pool, and very much different to it is today. And it served the coalfields the other side of the reservoir, namely Chasetown. The coal from Chasetown could come out via the Midland Railway to Aldridge, or it could be transshipped from the canal, which is the other side of the eastern dam of the reservoir, which we now call Chasewater. And also there was a way out by rail to the former South Staffs Railway at a junction called Anglesey Sidings, which is pretty well next to the A5 main trunk road, and the coal in that direction go out towards Lichfield. The coal that came this way through our present railway, shall we say, was destined for the Black Country or Sutton Coalfield. For example, there was a coal merchant in Sutton Coalfield called Davenport's, who took a lot of the coal from this area and supplied it to local places around Streatley and Sutton Coalfield, Four Oaks, etc. Anyway, we sort of soldiered on. We eventually ran a steam loco for the first time in 1968. It was all very rudimentary, carried passengers in open wagons, that sort of thing. And then gradually through the 70s we developed a little bit more, suffered a lot from vandalism, which wasn't too clever at the time. And by about 1980, shortage of members, shortage of money, it's always been a problem. We didn't exactly close, but the railway didn't operate between October 82 and the spring of 85. So we've come back from that, thanks to a great part to the fact the toll road, we ended up with losing the station which we'd built at Brown Hills West, but as a consequence of the toll road and also coalfield redundant land money, which we got from Europe, we ended up with the big building which we call the Heritage Centre, where we're in now, and the station yard, eventually a station at, well, we called it Chasewater Heath, and beyond that there's a station, a little halt, you might as well call it, at Church Street. Now, Church Street is more or less where the locomotive shed for the Cannock Chase Colliery Company was, and the first locomotive that worked there was called Maclean, after the Maclean, as in Maclean Way. John Robinson Maclean, engineer of the South Staffs Railway, and together with his partners they signed an arrangement with the Earl, the Marquis of Anglesey, to use some of his land to construct collieries. And eventually, of course, that became the Cannock Chase Colliery Company, which was from about 1856, I think it was, something like that, the agreement was signed. And of course that continued until nationalisation in 1947, became the National Coal Board. All the pits, of course, have now closed. Our little railway, or what's left of the Midland Railway branch, etc., we operate on. There's a few remaining relics in the area. Sadly, one of the places you could see such things was the Museum of Cannock Chase at Hednesford, which is sadly closed, so there's no access at the moment to a lot of the mining exhibits there. And it's like I always say, at the end of the day, if it wasn't for the coal, we wouldn't be here. Simple as that. Anyway, we carry on. We have various operating days where we obviously raise money. We've got a very successful cafe called the Sidings at Brownhills West, which brings in a lot of people, a lot of money, and we continue on. So this year is actually, let me think, 60 years come towards the end of this year when we actually first came to Chasewater. The depot, as I say, Hednesford closed in 1970. So since then, all our efforts have been concentrated at Chasewater.